I first met Helena at soccer, but it's funny because we actually had gone to school together and we were part of the same friend group, but we hadn't like met each other, I guess. I don't know. So we met through soccer last spring. My first impression of Helena was, well, I remembered that I had gone to school with her. And then I also thought, I was like, wow, she's really pretty and she's freaking hilarious. I thought she was so funny. Consecutively, Helena and I have been together, we just hit 4 months like a week ago. Our first date was, we had actually gone to prom together before, and I don't really consider that like our first date. Our first like official date, we went to the Village, which is a breakfast place down in Boulder. We went down there, and I'm pretty sure I got the biggest plate of food I could get, and so I think she got like pancakes or something. And I just remember that it was just organic. It was really good, you know, like with people beforehand I had never like, I don't know, I guess I was nervous, but it was like good nervous. I remember she asked me out and I was like, I'm gonna pay for this because I want her to like know that I appreciate this, and so I did. And like she was like, oh, that's so sweet, and I was like, it's really not that sweet, but like sure, whatever. Okay, so I talked about prom earlier, and it was during that, and so instead of going to actual prom, we went laser tagging. Anyway, we were on the top of a ropes course, and I've been trying to like figure out when I could kiss her, and I really wanted to when we were playing laser tag, but like it was too intense and I got too competitive, and so we like managed to go on a ropes course after. And she like was kind of behind me, and I stopped at like this one platform, and I was like, hey, come here, and she was like, what? And, like she like looked at me like I was gonna kill her or something. And I explained to her, I was like, so I wanted to like do this during laser tag, but like we kept moving around, so, and then I just kissed her, and she like shied away from it almost, and I was like, what's wrong? And then she was like, I'm not good at kissing, this is my first kiss, and I was like, I don't care, I don't have a problem. And so I like got her chin and I actually kissed her. I don't know, it was just really sweet, and then her friends were below us and they were like, gay, or some shit like that. I guess if we have to say like one physical feature, I'm probably gonna say two. But I really like her legs a lot, and like she's a cute butt, and like I think she has stunning eyes. Can't think of my favorite memory. It's really hard for me to figure out like one. Usually when we're just like alone together, one of them is like that sticks out is when she like made this meal, and I was just like, gotta wipe that up. But it was really good. Like it was Italian, and we're like really into carbs because we're soccer players. So, but I don't know. Just anytime I get to spend with her, like whether we're like laying in her bed, hanging out, or like over at my house, like it doesn't really matter as long as I'm alone with her. Yeah, well, we just kind of, I don't know, we hang out, we do homework, and somehow she like managed to make that fun and interesting. Not a lot that she does annoys me. There's one thing that she says that really gets me, and it used to be, ooh, she thick. It used to be that, but there's something else that she's been saying lately, and it just makes me so uncomfortable. I can't think of it. Also, when she says that I'm annoying, that annoys me. It's like, I am not annoying. I'm hilarious. Thank you. I know it's really cliche, but you know when like warm cookies come out of the oven? It's like that. I don't know. Breath of fresh air. You know, it feels like home. Whenever someone says Helena, I always just think of her. Like, it's not elaborate, unfortunately, but I think the thing that I most value is that I don't have to wonder if she actually wants to be around me. I don't have to wonder if she actually like cares or like loves me. There's nothing that has ever indicated to me that she doesn't want to be there. And she just, like I said, she feels like home, you know? I love you.
I first met Galen in a jazz history class that we were taking together as undergrads at CU Boulder. Galen is a super quiet guy, so I had the impression of a really sweet, quiet guy who is very smart. We are in our 3rd year as boyfriend and girlfriend and now fiancés, but we've known each other for 10 years. And I should add, this is the 2nd time around. We tried for a minute to date when we, about a year after we had met each other. It lasted for about that long, about a minute. Well, our first date was actually at his house. We used to meet all the time for breakfast, and he kept asking me if I would come over and have tea. And I kept saying, how about breakfast? And he kept saying, how about tea? And I was like, how about breakfast? And he finally told me that he was not available for breakfast anymore, and he was only available for tea. For real, things started when I had tea and got to see pictures of his trip to Africa. Remember, he sat down on the couch because we were going to look at pictures from Africa, and he had his computer, and I remember he sat down next to me, and I was like, oh, he's touching my leg. And I was thinking to myself that I was crazy. I was like, you've touched his leg before, but you're going to be fine. I was like, oh, I was feeling quite, out of sorts. And so I pretty quickly realized that he was maybe, in his very sweet Caitlin way, just had decided that he was going to put the moves on me that evening. And I was really nervous about it. And I was trying to be like, hey, I really value our friendship, and I hope we know about this. And I really want us to be friends. I don't want to have anything ruin that. And he said, well, maybe it's time to evolve. And so we kissed. His best feature. I think he is a very honest and down-to-earth person. He'll always tell me the truth. He doesn't really sugarcoat things. He's very straightforward, but he's a really gentle human, so it's in a really gentle way. So I can count on him to be pretty honest with me, and always really pretty. He's really sensitive, even when he's being, in my estimation, a dude. He is still a very thoughtful human, so that's my favorite feature about him. One of our first camping trips we took was a little awkward because we hadn't really told his parents that we were together, and he really wanted me to come on this camping trip, and I was nervous about telling his parents because I had been friends with them for so long. But I just remember watching the sunset that evening, and it was really beautiful, and I felt cared for and safe in some lovely way. We are usually playing with the dog. We're pretty big dorks about our puppy dog, Pippi. And I'm a big fan of cuddling. I think Galen's more of a fan of cuddling than he was before. Oh my God. I should preface all this by saying I really do love my fiance. His tempo is a completely different tempo than mine. His internal tempo, if we're going to be musician geeks about it, he's at like 40 or maybe 30 beats per second, and I am like at 210. And so sometimes I just can't even deal with the lag time in response to a question. I'll be like, for me it feels like 4 years, and he's just processing. And I'm like, and I think that the more annoyed or upbeat I am that day or caffeinated, the slower he feels the need to go. And I don't think he's conscious that he's doing it on purpose, but I swear he's doing it on purpose. So I think that he purposefully sometimes takes longer to do things or is slower in his response in relationship to how much I feel like I need the information or the response. It's pretty funny. So yeah, sometimes I just can't even deal with it. Galen makes me feel very special and like incredibly loved. I never thought that I needed that. I think that in a sense, we are really independent people who get to live our own lives, and we have the chance to add to each other's life. So I feel like my life is very enriched when he's around. And it's a little chaotic, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I wish that I could have my own order back, but the reality is my life is about 4 million times better to the 10th power with our chaos that we get to have together. It's really great. Well, our dog Pippi, it's silly, but that. Also, yeah, his steadiness and his careful thought behind things, and yeah, adventure. I think that we actually have a chance that we got to be friends, and we still are really good friends. And now I also have a wonderful partner and lover and sweetheart to share my life with. So there's that side of just being down to earth kind of buddies, but we also get to have a little bit of the other too, and you know, that kind of ebbs and flows, both of those things. And I think we trust each other a lot to be there. And so in about whenever our first wave hits of crisis, I'll ask to see this video again because I want to remember this. But no, I just feel pretty lucky, and that's what I think about.
Everybody's talking how again. I first met Jason because our moms knew each other, and so my mom told me to reach out to him on Facebook because he told his mom that he wouldn't reach out to a girl on Facebook whose name was Devin, because it's a boy's name. And so I reached out to him, and then he agreed to meet me for dinner, and we went on a first date that was kind of a blind date, even though our parents. We had one of those awkward moments where like I went for the hug because I was in this like community where everybody hugged at the time, and he went for the handshake, so he kind of like stabbed me in the gut as I like awkwardly wrapped around him, and then we did the thing where like I switched to the handshake while he awkwardly hugs, and then we just laughed a bunch, and it was awkward. I knew you were gonna ask this question. We have been together 8.5 years, and we have been married 5 years in August. Our first date was like an hour from my house, so I agreed that if he planned the date, I would come to him. So I drove to Huntington Beach, and we went to a restaurant on the ocean, which was a seafood restaurant, which is hilarious because neither of us actually like seafood, but you do things on first dates and you forget to tell the other person, I don't actually like this. And we got way overpriced seafood and pretended like we liked it. And then we went to a pool hall and like played pool as like an activity to do together, which once again, I don't think we have ever done since then. So it was really fun. Jason's best feature is his wit. Like he's extremely clever. It may not be my favorite memory, but it is like an endearing memory. Like when we had first started dating, he went to a wedding about a month after we started dating, and he had texted me from the wedding that he wasn't dancing at the wedding, and he asked me if I would save him a dance, and like it was a cute little thing, and I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then he flew back from Michigan, and I picked him up from the airport, and then that night he like sat up in his living room, like candles, and he played a song, and we had our first dance in his living room with like In-N-Out burgers. And so it was like the dance he saved me from that wedding. And then that was the song we danced to at our first dance at our wedding. We typically, when we're together, I mean, we watch a lot of TV and Netflix, like a lot of downtime together. We're both pretty busy with work, and so when we're together, we're like relaxing. Lately we've gotten into kind of cooking together, which neither of us are very good at. We enjoy skiing together. That's something we enjoy doing together. Oh my gosh. What annoys me the most about Jason is he is like I don't know if perfectionist is the word, but like he is extremely efficient and like doesn't forget things and is on top of it, and I'm not. So he often is correcting me and reminding me about things, and yeah, I don't like that. I feel very taken care of by him. I don't have to worry about things getting done or life happening or what our future looks like, because he's very predictable and on the ball and just a safe person. Depends on the day. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Jason is probably his sense of humor. Like whether he would find something funny or whether he would be like annoyed by something, like his reaction to whatever situation I'm in, and how he would respond to it. What I value most about our relationship is that it's not surprising in a negative way. Like there's nothing that I don't know about Jason that even if it annoys me or I'm frustrated by it, it's not new. I knew what I signed up for. I'm sure he knew what he signed up for too. But that it's consistent and that even when it's frustrating, like I know how bad it would be or how good it would be, and that is a sense of security.
You ain't seen nothing like me.
I first met David at a bar in New York City. I thought he was gay, and he thought I was gay. And that's why we had a really easy conversation. So David and I have been married 19 years, and I think we've known each other about 21 years. Jogging my memory. My first date with David, I had told my friend to tell him to call me, so that was the first thing that happened. I was demanding. He called. I guess that's when we figured out that we were not gay, you know?
Yeah.
And we went out for sushi, Avenue A Sushi in New York City, and I did not dress up, and I did not wear makeup, and he still liked me. I remember he told me I had something on my tooth, which was how I knew he was pretty cool. And then we listened to music. So we walked around the city and we listened to music. I was really kind of happy because I was attracted to him, and I'd been dating a lot of guys I was not attracted to. So I think he came to talk, like turned his head to talk to me, and I kind of pounced on him, which is kind of embarrassing now. But from there, we ended up in a cab, making out, in an elevator, making out, and then back to my apartment. David's best feature to me is his confidence. I think my favorite memory was it was either my wedding day or when we got engaged. We were fighting right before he proposed to me because I had asked him if we were going to just live together and never get married. And I didn't want to be one of those women that was pressuring the guy I was with to marry me or put a ring on my finger. But I remember thinking, I don't want him living in this apartment if we're not going to make some moves forward. So I think it was when we were in the hot tub in St. John, and that he surprised me and proposed to me after we were fighting, that kind of thing. It was kind of embarrassing because I was yelling at him about maybe not committing to me, and he had brought the ring all the way to St. John and surprised me, so I felt like an ass. We like to go out to dinner. We like to travel. Well, we did before we had kids. It's kind of hard now. We do like to hike, hang out, talk, chill, watch movies. Snoring. Grumpy. Like his son, Kobe. He's super grumpy. That annoys me the most. Better, on most days, better than almost anyone, because he doesn't squash my spirit. And he empowers me and makes me feel even better than I think I am. That I'm lucky. Honesty. I think that's really it, and a sense of humor.
Baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars.
I first met Brenda at a Starbucks, and we had a mutual friend there, and I was caught staring at her, so finally we began talking, and I couldn't figure out anything about her, so I kept awkwardly staring at her. I couldn't figure out if she was gay or straight, how old she was, what race she was, and that just led me to be the most awkward individual ever, and yeah, we went out the next night. My first impression of Brenda was just kind of in awe. I didn't know what to think. I had never seen or met anyone like her in my life. I really just kept staring. Nothing about her made sense. She had these like perfectly manicured nails with all of this jewelry, and then like her arms were bigger and more muscular than any guys I've ever seen. It just nothing fit, and her hair was all perfectly highlighted, but she didn't have makeup on. Like the whole thing just didn't fit. It was intriguing. I think we've been together almost 5 years. I think what I would consider our first date was that she showed up at my door with concert tickets, and I had an Aerosmith CD in my car, and I drove her back to her car, and the next day she showed up with these concert tickets, and they were front row seats to Aerosmith. And so my first official date was front row seats to Aerosmith singing Dream On. Our first kiss, I think, was outside of the kitchen in Boulder, and neither of us wanted to say goodbye, and so we stood outside of our cars talking for 4 hours. I think it was like 4:30 in the morning when we finally went home. And then just because we were both so tired, we forgot that we weren't really supposed to kiss because we weren't sure if it was a date or not. And then we accidentally kissed, and then, yeah, there was kissing. I think Brenda's best feature is her honesty. She is the most honest person I've ever met, and that is good and bad. You always know what she's thinking and how she's thinking it and what she's feeling, and in a world of actors and people that have so many masks, it's so nice to have somebody that does not have a mask on. I think my favorite memory was like the moment that I realized I fell in love with her, which was, kid you not, 2 weeks after we even met, but that's okay. So we were driving from church. Oh yeah, I guess our second date was at church. Anyways, we were driving from church, and she's like, hey, do you want to go to the mountains? And I was like, sure, I'm supposed to be at work. She's like, well, let's go to the mountains. So we drove up just Canyon Road, and she had the top off of her Jeep, and we were playing Aerosmith, I think, and something else. I don't know, a bunch of really nice songs. And I just remember looking over, and she was singing full on, like with no inhibitions, with her top down and screaming the words of the song, and very, very happy and laughing. So I took all these videos of her just being happy and singing. What do we do when we're together? We mostly talk, honestly. We don't like going out as much. We just like being at home with our animals and going on long walks and all the really corny, stupid domestic things that married couples actually enjoy, and drinking really nice wine. Yep. I think what annoys me most about Brenda is how loud she is. She's the loudest person I've ever met in my entire life. She laughs loud. She's so animated, and for someone as introverted and quiet as I am, like sometimes it's too much. Just even listening to her like tell a story, it's so loud. It's just a lot to handle, and it's exactly how it happened, and she's acting out all the characters, and I am just like, this is too much. And yeah, she's really loud. She's a loud person. That's gonna sound weird. Brenda, but this is true. Like, when I think about Brenda, I think about just being excited. Like, excited to see her, excited to where we're gonna go, excited for dinner. I always get excited about dinner when Brenda cooks dinner. Excited for our future, just kind of excited. Because there's like so much unknown, and that's awesome when you have a future with somebody, but then like you're kind of creating it as you go, as opposed to it being created for you in a way. Her laugh. It's loud.
and all teeth and very beautiful. I think our relationship has a lot of integrity, and that's probably what I value most. We're incredibly honest with each other, and when we do things that are bad, then we say sorry. There's just a lot of integrity. There aren't any secrets, and it's the most important thing to us, so we really fight for it, not with each other or for each other, but actually for the relationship that we've created as the it. We fight for us. I just think it's cool that we even met, because we shouldn't have met. There was no reason for us to meet. We met completely randomly, and neither of us were looking to meet somebody. So the fact that we met and then 6 weeks later we're engaged is kind of a crazy reality, and just kind of how our relationship has gone. It's just very fast and intense and really beautiful. And I really love my wife.